Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing this bronzy eye, super easy to do makeup look for you guys, and I am giving you two lip options. I'll mention it later on, but I have to mention it now again. Like, it is so crazy how a lip color completely changes the look. You're going to be getting a beautiful peachy nude color and this both cranberry color. This is a super classic look. I feel like bronzy eyes are very common, but it's really a great thing to learn to do, which is why I wanted to show you guys. And it's very complimentary. I feel like this look looks well with pretty much anyone. You can do it on a darker skin tone and a much lighter skin tone than myself also. So if you would like to see how to get this makeup look, then just keep on watching. Alrighty, so starting out, I've already moisturized my face using my Pond's Dry Skin Cream. And now we can move on to priming. I'm going to be using this Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. These names are so long. This is the smoothing formula, and I'm going to take just about this much. I go ahead and work it between both of my fingers and spread it out on my trouble areas. And I kind of just pat it in. Moving forward, we can start concealing since I'm not going to be using a super heavy coverage foundation. For this, I'm going to be using my little sample of the Acoin Sensual Skin Enhancer, and this is in the color SX04. It's quite light, so that is why I like to put it underneath my foundation. But this concealer covers everything, and you literally need the littlest bit. So I'm going to take about that much, and that's honestly probably good for my whole face, whatever I need to really cover up. And I do like to work that in with my finger because the warmth really helps to set it all in. And that should do the job of covering up any really big problems so that I can go ahead with my foundation and just have a nice even skin tone. For my foundation, I am going to be using my Lumi cushion from L'Oreal. This is in the color W3. It's a little bit light, but I can definitely work with that. I really like the finish of this foundation. It looks way more natural, which is why I do need a little extra coverage underneath, but the finish is just perfect. My matte foundations were really starting to look a little too cakey. So I go ahead and put my beauty blender, and I do a generous amount of pressure so that I can get a good amount of product. As you can see that it's nice and covered. This will probably cover all of my cheek. And I go ahead and even out my skin tone. Take it down your neck a little bit. This color looks great for me right now. So to make it look less like you have a mask, you want to always work it into your hairline. Just blend it out using your blender, brush, whatever it is that you like to use. That should do the trick for foundation. Moving on, I'm going to color correct using my Mac Pro Longwear Concealer under my eyes. They are looking mighty dark, which is why I didn't want to go in with that yellow concealer before, because it would just make it look more blue and purple. It wouldn't look great. So using a orangey, salmony, or peachy kind of concealer really helps combat those dark blues. And when you're working underneath your eyes, you want to be super gentle. The skin will get really ugly if you're like tugging and pulling and being really rough with it. And then to finish blending it out, you can just take the beauty blender again and tap, tap, tap. So if you have gone ahead and color corrected your under eyes, you can definitely get away with using a more yellow concealer like this one right here. This is the color Sand in the Maybelline Fit Me concealers. But if you haven't color corrected already and you want to use your cream highlighter as a concealer, you know, all in one, it's probably better to go with a more pinky one. I am using the color light just because I feel like for me it really just ends up peeking through. So the more I do to prevent that, you know, the better for me. I'm going to go ahead and place that underneath my eyes in an upside down triangle form. And you want to stay pretty close to the nose. I concentrate most of the product right there in the darkness. And then I kind of just go like that because you don't need to waste a whole bunch of product covering the whole surface. You end up blending all of that out and it conceals properly anyways. So then I go ahead and do the same on the other side. And I complete that right there. I go ahead and even my face out by highlighting my forehead, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. So to blend all of that concealer out, I'm going to go ahead and use my beauty blender. And as you can see, that color really just highlights everything. There's no darkness under there now. Alrighty, now that we have a very flawless and highlighted base, you want to make sure to always set all of that cream product, especially because I will go over and contour. You don't want your contour to end up looking really splotchy and just muddy because of it skipping over, you know, a more luminous kind of foundation. You definitely have to set your whole face. I usually love using my MAC Prep and Prime Transparent Pressed Powder, but since I don't have it with me, my NYX Mineral Set It Don't Fret It powder is awesome. I really like the finish of this. I don't think it's too drying or anything. I think it works perfect. So I am going to be taking that onto my beauty blender. But before I go in and set that, I want to make sure that there are no creasing lines before I put that powder on. And I go right in and I press it right onto it. I then go ahead and take whatever powder I have left with this big fluffy brush. And as you can see, at first I'm going to be patting the powder onto that area and later on buffing the powder on the remaining area, just because I don't want to move around any product underneath. And after I'm all done with that, I like to just go back in with this beauty blender. The moisture, I feel like, really helps to make the powder just become one with the skin and not look cakey or anything too dry. We can go ahead and bronze up the face. So today I'm going to be using my old, you know, favorite. This is from the Morphe Brushes Angel Merino brush set, and it's like a nice tapered fluffy brush. I like to go ahead and apply that onto the areas where I will be contouring later on. This acts as a nice sort of transition shade from skin tone to bronze, then to the contour shade for definition. This will also help for the contour to blend out very seamlessly. Bronze my forehead up because it's big and we're going to be contouring it so it doesn't look as big. And right around the jawline where I'm going to be contouring later. I'm going to go ahead and contour using my Lorac Pro Contour Kit and this Beige cosmetic brush. I like it because it's kind of like tapered, as you can see, but it's so nice and fluffy to be able to blend the product out. And here you'll see me full first applying it with that brush, but I have come to notice that since these are synthetic, they just honestly don't work very well with powders. I go back in with that Angel Merino tapered face brush to be able to actually blend the product out. And even though it didn't really work out that well with the other side, I still try to give it one more shot on the other cheek for the contour, but it just doesn't work out. The fibers, they just don't blend out powder very well. And once again, I try to give this brush one last chance with the chin and neck contour, but as you can obviously see, it's not very smooth and I have to go back in with that brush once again to blend everything out. I know it looks a little bit like much and a little messy right now, but I do always go back in and clean up my contour with light powder, and that really helps to like bring it down a little bit too. I'm going to be taking this nice tulip shaped brush, dipping it into both the yellow highlight and the beige highlight, and just placing this right here to clean up my contour. Bring a little bit of light back into that. I have to apply a little bit heavily, and I do like to let it just sit for a while I finish the rest of my makeup. But we will knock it off later on. And then I'm just going to go ahead and re-brighten up the other eye a little bit. This really will help me to make my contour a little more seamless also. I'm going to bring that down all through here. For highlight today, I'm going to be using my J.cats Big Eyeshadow Trio. This is in the color Triple Crown. I like to go ahead and swirl my Real Techniques setting brush in the top two lighter shades. Highlight a little bit right here under the brow bone, on the brow bone, and on the tops of my cheeks. I really like the way that this works as a highlighter because since it's baked, I feel like it looks really nice with the skin. Also take that as you saw on the tip of my nose, a little bit over here on the bridge of my nose, and the cupid's bow. I'm going to take a quick break from the face and move right on to the eyes while I let this bake and brighten that area. I'm actually going to go ahead and apply a little bit of that right under my eyes too to catch any of my fallouts. Doing this will also super like seal in your concealers, but more than anything, like I do it to catch the fallout from eyeshadow. So today I kind of want to go with a bit of a bronzy eye. To start off, I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyelids with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I'm going to try out this little brush that was part of that Beige Cosmetics brush set. I feel like it looks like it's perfect for this. And yeah, I can tell you right now that it is. It's awesome. I like it. It's nice and soft. Blended that perfectly, super easily. Now that I have the concealer down, you want to make sure to set that so that when you are working with your shadows over top, they don't skip over anything, they blend out very easily. For this, I'm going to be using Soft Peach from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Oral Traveler palette. This one right here. So I'm taking the powder mostly on my brow bone, and I work it down to the eyelid. Nice. Going in with this nice fluffy brush, I'm going to go in with a transition shade. For me, I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love Bone Beige by MAC. This is actually a sculpting powder. And I just work that in pretty messily. Going in with a little bit of product at first, and then just building it up. You work it into the intensity of your liking. Now I'm going to go ahead and with the medium contour, actually from the Lorac Pro Concealer palette. As you can see, there's like a little hole in it because I actually like this as a pre-shade a lot, just to deepen and define. for the blending in the crease and all this stuff, we like to go ahead in with windshield wiper motions, and you occasionally go in with the circular motions to blend the color out and blow it out a little bit. I'm gonna go in with this tapered pencil brush and the color Deep Contour first onto my outer V. We're kind of just packing that color on right there. Kind of like if you were like creating like a wing shape in a way. And then you kind of create just like a V right where your crease is. This is honestly just like the base color to darken the outer V. I'm gonna go back in with a different color afterwards. Keep your motion controlled. And as you can see here, I'm like dragging it out, really trying to make that like wing shaped little cat eye effect. If it's not super clean, like don't worry at all. I'm actually gonna go back in and clean it up with a little makeup wipe later on. That's obviously not blended whatsoever. So now to blend it out, I'm gonna go ahead first with no additional product with a slightly more tapered fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna like blend all that out nicely. And now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of that medium contour color just to really diffuse the edges. To go ahead with this detailed shadow brush, and I'm gonna dip into the color Fudge. It's a beautiful, rich, deep, chocolatey brown. And I'm gonna just pat that in on the very edge. I'm gonna be taking this little fluffier version of a pencil brush that I was using before. This has no product on it. And I'm going to just blend this out so that it doesn't look crazy. And then of course you always want to go back in with that more tapered fluffy brush and that medium contour to really blend everything. I have been really digging a matte highlight. I'm actually going to be using the beige highlight here because I think it's a little bit brighter than that soft peach color. Now I'm taking it onto a shadow brush and just going in and highlighting that brow bone. This is also going to help if you brought up the shadows a little bit too much. Kind of control everything once again. There's like almost nothing in here, and I'm kind of just using the liquid, right, dipping that right in there. I can't use this anymore. It won't spray out anymore, but I just really needed to get my brush wet. It's soaked. So now that that is nice and wet, that is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray that I used. I'm gonna go ahead and use this middle shade. It is a bronzy gold. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's about to be on. And I'm just gonna kind of like swipe it. Dude, that looks so awesome. And I'm gonna bring it up to like right there. I will be going back in with a little pencil brush and blending out that outer V so that it connects well. This is actually a lip brush, and I'm gonna go and dip into that lightest shade, and I'm just gonna highlight my inner like tear duct to brighten everything. You need to go back in with that little fluffy pencil brush and just make sure that the edges are nice and diffused. And let's use that on the crease also. Now that we have the top of our eyes done, I'm going to go in with a makeup wipe and clean up the edges so that it looks nice and super cut clean, crisp, very put together. That step is cool because it kind of like lets you be messy, and at the end, like, it still looks really, really fancy. I'm gonna go ahead and aim it like that so that when I clean it all up, it all works well. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on the lower lash line, and I'm gonna make this nice and super, super simple. I'm gonna go ahead and first dip into fudge and just define my lower lash line. And as always, I just like to take this in about 3/4 of the way. And I'm gonna go back and use that detailed shadow brush. And remember, it does have fudge from before, but I'm not gonna add any product. I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit. And now I'm gonna go back in with that same a Royal and Langnickel angled liner brush and dip into the color Noir now. And I'm just gonna really define the very outer part of my lower lash line. And I do this with a black, like, all the time with any look that I do. And the reason I do it is because I like to connect the liner with it. It helps to make everything look like way more defined and put together, in my opinion. And back in with that detailed shadow brush, just to smooth that out slightly. Now I'm gonna go ahead with this tiny dome-shaped brush, and I'm gonna dip into peach, soft peach, and I'm gonna make sure that everything is well cleared. No harsh edges. This is super nice. Fine lower lash line. Complete this look. Lastly, we go ahead and line our eyes. I'm going to be using my tattoo liner from Kat Von D. I absolutely love this, but this makes making the cat eye like so easy in comparison to using absolutely anything else. Make that line, and then make a small one and fill in that little triangle. When I do my wings, I don't like to connect it all the way through because I don't have a lot of lid space, and doing that really will cover up like all of the eyeshadow. So I just connect it over here, and then I go in literally hugging my lashes pretty much, and I do like the thinnest line possible throughout my lid. I'm telling you, this makes everything so easy. And then towards the end, I just kind of make sure that it is a little bit thicker back here, just so it all mixes well. I'm gonna go ahead, before I do my lashes, I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows. My absolute favorite way to do my brows is with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow pomade. This is in the color medium brown, and I use their number 12 brush. They're geniuses. They're absolutely amazing with their brow products and their eyeshadows. The first thing I do is brush them out and up. I'm gonna go ahead and begin with underlining my brow. And I do have an in-depth, super in-depth eyebrow video. I'll be listing that down below if you are interested in seeing it. Now I brush my hair down so that I can see the shape that I really want. And I start with the tail. And I have been really liking doing a little more of a straighter brow. I like how it looks on me. As you can see, I'm really not bringing my arch up much more than it naturally is. Like, I have hair there, it's just very sparse. As you can see, I went ahead and just made sure that my arch and my tail was really nicely defined. I made sure to pretty much patch up a little bit of in my eyebrow that are not quite there. And now that we're getting towards the front of the brow, I'm just gonna do short strokes. And now at the very front, I turn my brush so that the product that is applied is super light, and I'm going in with a super light hand, and that's really all I need. Like, I barely touched it. And now you use that spoolie to make sure that the product is evenly dispersed and there's no patchiness, because it will show up in pictures. Set that in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. This will keep your brows in place all day long. I'm gonna go back in and clean my brows up using my Mac Pro Longwear Concealer. This is in the color NW25. I like to use this color because it's not too light and it won't look like I have highlighted eyebrows. But this will definitely do the trick to make them look super defined and perfect. Like, I just want you guys to see the difference between this eyebrow and this eyebrow. It just looks so much cleaner. Now I'm just gonna go ahead in with a light coat to the eyelashes, because I'm gonna actually be applying false lashes today, so it doesn't matter. I am using the Maybelline Falsies. This is the regular version, not the waterproof. And I'm not gonna build the lashes up or anything. This is just so that they're dark and they're up and they will blend with my falsies easily. But the one thing I do like to focus on, no matter what, is the bottom lashes. And for that, I always use the waterproof version of the falsies. Well, not always. I've actually been using this Lancome like Hypnose Drama one. It's a little tester. It's amazing. Like, I love it. But this one is the one I have with me, so it works. And it's waterproof, so the waterproof version of this one works well for the lower lash line. Doesn't end up all over the bottom right there. While we go ahead and wait for that to dry, I'm just going to make sure to knock off that powder that we put on earlier. I kind of think that by this time it's already kind of all sunken. Now I am going to go ahead and contour my nose. For this I'm going to be using that light contour shade that's nice and cool. And I'm going to be using this cool little brush. First I go ahead and just dip both of them in normally. Tap off excess and go straight down. I like this brush because it's super precise. And I'm able to do an awesome nose contour with it. You want to definitely go in with a little bit of product at a time and just build the pigmentation of that nose contour,
because it's very easy for it to look muddy and patchy. And here, as you can see, I'm doing something I have been trying out a lot more lately, which is contouring the little area right there on the nose. This really helps to make the whole nose look a lot slimmer. And then I bring the contour right up underneath of the little ball of my nose. This will make my nose look a little bit more lifted. Then I go back in with this dual fiber brush and just make sure that those edges are nice and diffused. Now for the lips, I'm going to go ahead in with my NYX lip liner. This is in the color Natural. And I'm just going to make sure to line the lips, overlining just slightly to make sure that my lips look symmetrical. I mostly want to go ahead and concentrate the lip liner on the edges to define and give depth to my lips. Now using the NYX matte lipstick in the color Sable, I'm going to go ahead and place that into the center of the lips to make them look a little bit powderier, and slowly just blend it out towards the liner so that I can keep the definition.
Just want to look for a nude to complement your skin tone. For me, this one is perfect. It's a nice peachy nude, and using the lip liner beforehand really helps to still give the lips definition. And now I'm going to give you lip option number 2. It's going to be this beautiful mauve dark purpley almost lip. This is the color Tool from ColourPop. This is their Ultra Matte Liquid Lips. And I'm just going to be applying this over top of what I've already got on. This lipstick is going to really kind of bring your look up to a different level. It's going to be a lot more glamorous and a lot more dramatic. This is probably the more nighttime appropriate look, though this one is extremely nighttime appropriate also. It's just super classy and beautiful.
Having this nude lipstick as a base also helps to keep the pigmentation of this lipstick more true to color. With any dark lipstick, I like to be as careful as possible around the edges, starting with the Cupid's bow, and then I kind of just like take from the corner of the mouth and drag it up, worrying about connecting, you know, those lines from the Cupid's bow to the outsides of the lips afterwards. Mostly you just want to make sure that it's nice and just straight and sharp. You can definitely go back and clean up your lipstick afterwards with concealer though.
Alrighty, and that is the completed second lip option. Isn't it absolutely crazy how a lip color completely changes the look up? Alrighty you guys, so that was the look.
I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a long one, but I hope that you did learn something new along the way. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You'll be notified whenever I put up a new video. With that being said, can't wait to see you guys on my next one. Bye bye.